Thank you so much. Thank you as well to Anne for the opportunity to be here for the first time in the Africa Trade Conference. It's an honor to be here. And thank you, Musa and co-panelists for this session. I'm really excited to have this conversation with you all. So my name is Anna Jankowska Erickson, and I'm a program trade information officer at the International Trade Center in Geneva. We are a trade development assistance organization under the World Trade Organization and UNCTAD. So our goal is to really try to empower small and medium-sized enterprises to take advantage of new opportunities in markets across the world. To tell you a little bit about my background, I've been working for the past 14 years in trade research, in capacity building, and especially in developing digital tools to help entrepreneurs. So I work in the trade and market intelligence section, and my goal in terms of empowering African businesses is to equip them with accessible, free information so that they can make strategic business decisions, both across the continent, but take advantage of opportunities across the globe. So I'll stop there for now. I would say that a small portion of them definitely are, and I have interacted with some incredibly competitive and very capable SMEs from Africa, selling beauty products, selling a number of things. So there's definitely that potential there. But in the work that I've done with business support organizations, especially trade promotion organizations, we've been involved in a lot of training on market analysis and a lot of other aspects. And what we found is that businesses sometimes lack the information, lack the capabilities, lack perhaps knowing where to turn, and especially how to connect the different dots of the types of information they need to put their business plan together. And oftentimes another big factor is the financial resources to take the risk, right? To really scale up their business and to really try to reach new markets. So I would say in some respects, there are, there's definitely some firms that are ready, but I think that as Oliver already pointed out, I think that moving forward, if we want to make sure that regional integration and that value chains are really effective in helping create prosperity, connecting SMEs and engaging with them is absolutely crucial.
Anna, I would just like to find out from you, considering that you also work largely with research, based on recent studies, what sectors in Africa have a unique competitive advantage for developing export-led growth? From what Patience has just said, I think there is definitely space for agricultural produce, whether it be fruits or vegetables, but are there any other sectors that small and medium-sized businesses that are currently operating locally or domestically could tap into on a global perspective?
Thank you, Musa. I actually wanted to contextualize a little bit, because Africa is definitely underrepresented in global trade, right? Africa represents 15% of global population, but only about 2.3% of world exports. And I think what's also interesting is that if you look at African trade, only 14% in the last year was intra-African trade, and the vast majority went outside of Africa and mostly in commodities. So there's really a unique opportunity, I feel like, to tap into the potential in intra-African trade. Patience has talked a lot about the opportunities in Europe, and Oliver is also taking advantage of opportunities in the US. So there are a lot of opportunities around, but I think that the intra-African opportunities are quite special and interesting as well. And I wanted to focus a little bit on that. So ITC has something called Export Potential Map, which is an econometric forecast that we do to help you understand how much you could export at the product level to different markets. And when we look at intra-African trade, we estimate that there is room for an additional 22 billion in exports by 2026. So, and this isn't just in agricultural products, even though food products are prominent in that, but we're also talking about machinery, we're talking about motor vehicle parts, we're talking about beauty products, chemicals. There's really a great deal of potential across sectors. But beyond the products that we are already selling as final goods, one of the things I wanted to highlight is my colleagues are just finishing a report that will be launched at the AU Summit that's coming up in Niamey on industrialization and economic diversification. And the study is called Made by Africa, Creating Value Through Integration. And what it does is it looks at the different inputs and outputs, the products that are exported from Africa. And it looks at connecting how those could be put together into value chains. And after looking at over 5,000 products and evaluating over 400 value chains, they identify 94 promising value chains that could be developed that would integrate inputs from at least 5 different African countries to create more sophisticated and higher value added goods. So this study will be coming out in 2 weeks in Niamey, and we will try to circulate it as widely as possible. But what's also interesting about this is that they conducted 10,000 interviews with businesses in Africa to understand what are the challenges that they're facing and actually connecting to these value chains. So what's going wrong? And I mean, there's a lot of sector specific stuff, but what's interesting is that part of it is a lack of awareness that there are even possibilities to find those products on the continent. Part of it is elevated trade and transport costs that make it difficult to source those products. There's payment access problems. And interestingly enough, there's also sometimes even just a lack of trust in the quality of African products, which is ironic because African products are magnificent and are being exported around the world, right? So, but I think it's interesting just to, what I wanted to highlight is that there's an incredible potential across already existing products. If you're interested, ITC has a ton of tools, export potential map, trade map. There's also the African Trade Observatory that helps you identify regional opportunities. I personally work a lot with Global Trade Help Desk, which helps you identify opportunities and also have access to the regulatory information that Patience mentioned, which is absolutely crucial in helping you export. So there's a ton of opportunities out there, but the question is just getting the information and equipping yourself so that you can really take advantage of them.
And I think a significant part of creating those value chains comes in creating regional value chains or countries within Africa coming together with their core strength to assist each other, interlink, so that we become stronger on a global perspective. And then it's not just my little company wherever it is, but then it's taking resources and strengths from Patience or maybe Patience's sister in Cameroon or whoever, and bringing that together so that we are more competitive on a global scale and we're able to be sustainable on a global scale. So Anna, I would just like to bring you in on digital tools. In our small minds, especially mine, I'll speak for myself, I view that digital frame just as maybe social media or digital marketing, but I'm sure there's a whole lot more to it other than just that. So maybe if you can just capacitate small and medium businesses on what digital tools are available for them to leverage off for efficient, inclusive, and sustainable global trade.
Thank you, Musa. If I can continue on Patience's example, let's take an avocado. Let's take an avocado from Kenya. So the first thing I'd want to do if I'm trying to decide where to export it is I might go to a platform that was created especially for SMEs, bringing together information from across 10 different agencies, like the Global Trade Help Desk. So I would type in Kenya, I would put in my product code for avocados, and I would be able to directly compare how economically attractive the top 10 different markets are. If I'm not convinced, I could put in another market. Then I'm going to see how much it's going to cost me using this digital platform. What are the tariffs that are implied? Are there any trade agreements that I can benefit from? What are the rules of origin associated with that? Then I can go into all of the regulatory requirements that Patience has been telling us about, all the sanitary and phytosanitary, all the labeling requirements, all the quality standards, so that I can see, can my avocado actually meet those requirements? From there, I might be curious in terms of trade finance or looking at potential buyers. But there's also a chance, as you mentioned, Musa, that I want to join e-commerce. So if I want to join e-commerce, I might consider something like the ITC Ecom Connect platform. It's a special community created especially for digital entrepreneurs to teach you about how to adapt your business online, like how it is that you can create an online store, how it is that you can learn to do digital marketing, and what are the specific marketplaces that you might consider. Interestingly enough, we have the Africa Marketplace Finder that can help you find the e-commerce markets across each African country. So this is an opportunity that could help perhaps hold your hand a little bit, like the programs that Oliver and Patience already mentioned, in terms of helping you take the digital jump and helping you also with a community of thousands of other entrepreneurs to prepare and get guidance from as you make that transition. So, I mean, ITC honestly has a bunch of different digital tools that I would encourage you to use. My favorites are Export Potential Map, but the African Trade Observatory is actually one of the 5 official instruments of the AFCFTA. So also something that's worth checking out if you have the time. But those are just a couple of hints on which digital tools we can embrace to really simplify market research, find the resources that we need, but also take the jump into digital trade.
So the first question is for Anna. How does the World Trade Organization work with SMMEs? Is it directly or through our partners or both?
So
Anna, you can go ahead.
Sorry.
Okay.
So the World Trade Organization actually, so it creates policy, right? The World Trade Organization is where you negotiate all of the different tariffs and all of the different agreements between countries. But interestingly enough, the World Trade Organization also has an informal working group dedicated to micro, small, and medium enterprises. And what they're trying to do is to make sure that the voice of small and medium enterprises is really taken into account in all of these negotiations, and especially to make sure that SMEs are able to benefit from what's being negotiated at the WTO. I'm happy to provide any additional information bilaterally. I can also share my email if anyone is interested. I think I would just say dream big and be proactive. There's a ton of tools and information out there that can help inform your decisions. There's incredible organizations like She Trades that Oliver mentioned, but also programs like that are already represented on this panel. So dream big, get out there and really try things, because there's a world of opportunities if we're willing to put in the work and to take advantage of them.